Hey, everybody. Welcome to OnPodcast, the On Microsoft official podcast, the only one that's out there. We are joining you guys on Halloween night. So, for those of you who are busy, maybe you'll pick this up tomorrow. But I am your co host, Kareem Anderson, and I'm joined with the world's greatest co host.
Arif Bacchus.
Yeah, and we're here to obviously bring you some news, bring you some gossip if we got a little bit of it. And with that being said, we'll just kind of get into our rundown for tonight's or today's episode.
Or
We had, go ahead.
yeah, we'll be kicking things off with something that we've been talking about since the On podcast started, which is our Xbox X Series unboxing.
Yeah, we're finally getting down to what, a couple of weeks, a week or so, and everyone will have one, and we can start talking about games and gameplay and UI and all this other stuff. But right now, unboxings are about as much as we got, and so we're gonna run with that. Followed by unboxings, we're gonna be talking about some new news coming up late that came out later in the week about Microsoft kind of changing up its Windows 10 UI with the code name Sun Valley as an apparent refresh redesign of some of the elements. So we'll talk about that as well.
And that's just a rumor, to be clear, but we do have some official numbers, which we could now talk about. And that's our third topic, which is Teams hitting 115 million daily active users.
Yeah, these numbers come as Microsoft released a ton of numbers because they had their earnings call this week. So again, we'll be talking about not only Teams, but we'll be talking about how Microsoft did for the quarter, how other products are doing, how Windows OEMs are doing. As we saw kind of Gartner report a few weeks ago about a bump and a spike in shipments, see how that's fared for Microsoft as well. And then we'll be talking about the week ahead, which Eric can kind of run down as well.
Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen me tweeting about Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I've been playing that game on a new HP NV15 laptop. So I'm planning to review it this week. So keep an eye out for that. And Kareem also has a new device that he wants to talk about. Here it is.
Yeah, I got one finally. Microsoft stepped up and got us out a review unit. So I'll be talking about the Surface Laptop Go, and not so much a full-on review because I've already kind of did that. So this is kind of a perspective about where it's going and Microsoft's product line in the future.
And then, speaking of product lines, there's some news about not Edge Dev, sorry, Microsoft Windows 10, the Dev channel, which we want to talk about. Some changes happening.
Yeah, Microsoft is Microsofting and making things confusing once again.
And yeah, so that's a look at what we'll be talking about. So now let's get into our first topic, which is our Xbox Series X unboxing. So this
Yeah,
happened earlier this week. If you're a reader of our Microsoft, you might have noticed our writer in France, Laurent, he unboxed the X Series. Of course, it's just an initial unboxing, so he can't speak much about the physical software or the gaming. But he got his hands on a review unit from Microsoft, and he unboxed it ahead of the general November 10th release.
yeah. Microsoft is leaning once again very hard into these orchestrated embargoes. So we
Just
are,
like the Duo.
yeah, just like the Duo. This one may be even worse because these are in steps. We can show a little bit of. You can talk about the speed, but you can't show really the device. You can show the device, but you can't really play any games. You can play some games, but you can't show the UI. It's a weird breadcrumb situation that they got going here. So, but again, in a couple of weeks, everyone will have one, and everyone can make the judgments for themselves.
But everyone is excited for the Xbox X Series, and we're happy that we have one for review. And we'd like to thank Microsoft for sending us X Series for review. And our writer Laurent, he'll be spending some time with the console, and you can look forward for his review in a couple of weeks ahead. But for
Yeah,
now, you could check out his post where he did the full unboxing. Kareem and I will just summarize it a bit.
yeah. What I want before I even get into the summarization of that, for those of you who have any questions that may be beyond the general scope of the gameplay itself, maybe controller, weight and feel, some other elements of the UI that people are covering, please let us know on our Twitter feed, because there are things we can examine. I saw Dave 2D where he reviewed the mechanisms within the controller themselves, which is really in depth and really cool. So if there's questions about something, niche that you want to know, let us know, and maybe we can kind of forward that to Laurent. But getting on to what he actually has said and what he's actually done about it, I'll let Harold take it from there.
So yeah, he started off. It's pretty much a really nice read, by the way. You guys should read it. We'll have the link in the description. It's basically like as if you had this box yourself on November 10th. He guided you through the process of opening it. So he looked at the outside of the box, the sides of the box, the imagery on the box, the inside of the box where the console is wrapped in gift wrap essentially, and how the controllers are packaged. The booklets, the literature, the readings, the batteries. The pretty much anything you expect when you open a Xbox box. Pun
Yeah,
intended.
yeah, no, it's and for those of you who may be giving yourself a headache by eye rolling to an unboxing, there are some things to consider. There's a lot that goes into the packaging presentations of products. I know that Apple spends millions a year on how they present their iPhones and how they've gotten the packages so condensed, and the way that experience is when you have to slide the top off the box. Those kind of things, the are working well for them, and these are things that are being mimicked by other companies. You can notice that if those of you who own a Surface, if you open up the box, it's got that very same uh, meticulous design to it. So Lawrence kind of covers that in his piece, and it's just a good read to kind of see, what the day one experience is. Again, you're probably going to rush through it, tear things apart, trash what you don't need, but just keep in mind that again, this was product, and there's an R&D that went into this. And I believe I'll have to see if I can find it and put it in the description too. There's a comparison of the opening of the box for the Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5. And the PlayStation 5 has a more traditional unboxing. Its presentation is geared obviously towards just getting to the thing, versus the way that the Xbox Series X opens with the box centered right in the middle of the thing. It kind of opens like a book
Yep.
rather than a Christmas box. Again, these are just things that you can kind of see and pick up in Loren's post.
Of course, you also see the Xbox logo and Microsoft's "Power Your Dreams" motto inside the Xbox box once you open it. And once he actually opened the box, he did have a chance to put it next to his Series X console. And Laurent said that it's not as big as he thought it was. And of course, as he held it in his hands and moved it around, he mentioned in his post that it has a matte plastic finish, and it's almost as tall as the Xbox One X when it's in a vertical position. All around, he said it looks good in a horizontal position, and on the bottom, it has four rubber feet to prevent the scratches, and a big rubber ring underneath too that can't be removed.
Yeah, so like I said, you guys should check it out. These are just some of the breadcrumbs we're getting for this experience, and like I said, we'll be seeing more in the days to come. I'm sure someone's probably gonna, break embargo and start running with some stuff. So just keep your eyes peeled for some more Xbox Series X news if that's what you're interested in. We'll be delivering next week.
Let me just pull out one quote here that he had in his piece, which I really like. Pretty much summarized the unboxing. TLDR version. Laurent said, "The Xbox Series X is definitely a bigger console, though when you look at gaming PCs or Sony's PlayStation 5, it's impressive that Microsoft managed to cram so much power into this relatively small form factor."
And that goes double for the Series S. Uh, there are lots of comparisons, visuals out there of the three consoles so far. I don't know if PlayStation's diskless version is out just yet. I haven't really seen any hands-on or visuals of that. But of the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and the Xbox Series S, it's amazing how much smaller they were able to kind of retrofit all of that power from the Series X into the Series S.
So enough about Xbox. Time to move on to some Windows 10 rumors, and I have my insider hat, which I want to put on for this segment before we go anywhere else.
Yeah,
Insider hat,
we have a lot of insider news. He's gonna have to keep that on all podcasts. And for those of you who are listening, it's a blue Ninja Cat hat.
complete with the Microsoft logo, either on this side right here.
Yeah, he's all Microsoft hat. Um, Getting into it, we have some rumors from our old buddy Zach Bowden over at Windows Central talking about a major design refresh for Windows 10, codenamed Sun Valley. And this could be coming out as early as fall of 2021. So it could be obviously much later. It can come out, it could slip or move to 2022. Who knows? But it's reportedly planning. Microsoft is reportedly planning a much bigger design refresh for Windows 10, the Cobalt update, again for fall 2021. But these are just rumors right now. Again, Zach's normally got pretty good sources, so you take it with a grain of salt. But he's been pretty solid on his information, and he reports pretty well. This change comes as a result of Panos Panay taking over as the or overseeing Windows. He's now in charge of that, and as many have been predicting, he's going to want to kind of coalesce not only the design of Windows 10, but to match his design aesthetic for the Surface devices.
And obviously, we just touched on the name. We didn't really get into much of the details as
No,
to what.
I was going to let you run the details.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
So,
back and forth.
yeah. Yeah. So some of the details, rumors, just to be clear, these are rumors. They did not officially announce this yet. Yet is a big word. So some of these rumors as to what exactly will be in Sun Valley. First off is a redesigned start menu and action center, which is inspired by Microsoft's work that we saw in Windows 10X. Then also the taskbar is going to have a completely rewritten code with modern code. And there's a new WinUI interface, which improves the overall Windows shell. The legacy file explorer is going to be pretty much gone and improved with a new user interface. And they're going to bring back some more dark mode support across Windows. And for all you people who have Surface tablets or Windows 10 tablets, some good news here is my tablet users, Zach says tablet users will see a more fluid experience with better animations coming in the Sun Valley update.
Now, for those of you who are either, I feel like there are two camps. There are those of us who have a knee-jerk reaction to be super ecstatic about this, and we've been really wanting to see some change in Windows 10 visually, especially I think Harif wrote this long piece about
Mac OS versus
Mac OS Big Sur and how Windows is kind of falling behind. And then there's the other bunch of people who are terrified by this. And to that, Microsoft is rumored to say that these upcoming visual remedies will be optional. For all of you in enterprise who don't want to train, or those of you in IT who don't want to train people on where to find the file explorer or what to do on the taskbar, these will ideally be optional updates. The way Microsoft kind of rolls now is that they will let it be optional for 2, 3, 4 releases, and then eventually start pushing towards that. So I don't expect them to change that in the future, but at least they won't be you wake up in the morning and your computer looks entirely different. Just to kind of dive into some of this stuff, I've been on the fence about these Windows 10X rumors about new design and things like that, because I think at the end of the day, and I think I wrote in my rebuttal to Harif's Big Sur piece, and we'll put some links in that if you guys want to read about those. It's Windows 10 is functional. For better or for worse, it functions as it is, and I think people have gotten used to and got the taste of Windows 8 out of their mouth. So, as much as I would like to see some new changes, I don't think they're necessary. I think, I appreciate the rewritten code for the taskbar, which is nice. I think the biggest and the only thing I would really focus on if I were Windows engineers is the file explorer. I know they can, kind of chew gum and walk at the same time. So, they'll be doing a bunch of stuff. But the file explorer, I think, needs to be updated. Aside from that, I think it's great. I don't think these visuals are needed, but hey, if they come, I will take them.
We don't have no idea how this will look like, but I think I did write a piece thanks to one of our readers who tipped us off about it. There's a concept floating around on Reddit about what this could possibly look at. The person literally created this concept 2 days before Zach started spreading the Sun Valley rumor, and it's a pretty nice change with a lot of fluent design in this fan-made concept.
Yeah, like I said, it's I will take it happily. I know again there are Microsoft's bigger business is enterprise, and they will probably be just as hesitant, if not more hesitant than in the past for this change. Because I think operating systems in general, even Big Sur, which I considered a fresh coat of paint over stuff they'd already had in the operating system, functionally speaking. People have gotten used to what a desktop does. It's the same as a phone. It's an app launcher. It's a website loader. At this point, getting in and out of File Explorer or jumping in and out of the task manager or going into command prompt, things like that. Those are super niche uh, edge cases, and as long as they don't break the system UI, I don't think too many people really care about um, the old elements kind of showing up. They're used to it. When you dig far into um, you know Windows devices, when you get into the device manager, beyond what you see as far as the new setting menu, you know what to look for. You know that you're going to see this like cascade of files and how to open them, things like that. I think changing it could be dangerous,
Right.
but we'll see how Microsoft works about this. What I really want to know is when we're going to start seeing elements of this in insider builds.
That's
Um,
that's that's what they just announced. I mean, we were saving it for the week ahead segment, but we might as well just talk about it now.
why not?
Just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So apparently there are some changes in the dev channel that when they announced build 20246, I think it was Thursday or Friday earlier this week, Halloween week, they announced some changes in the dev channel where I'm quoting from the blog post here, where Microsoft said, starting with today's build, Windows insiders will notice that the name of the branch we are releasing builds from has changed to FE release. Just like we did back in May when we released builds from the MN release branch, we are practicing our ability to change which branch flight builds from. I think that's a typo from Jason in the blog post. But anyway, continuing along. This is the important part for you Windows 10 fans and you insiders. As our engineers work in development cycles internally, we may prioritize work being done in a specific branch and may need to move insiders between branches. As a result, insiders will notice that some features like the updated emoji picker, redesigned touch keyboard, voice typing, theme aware splash screens, and others have been removed temporarily. We look forward to bring these features back to insiders in the future. As a reminder, emphasis here, because we were talking about this in the chat and Kip was quick to point this out. Builds from the FE release branch are not matched to a specific Windows 10 release. Now, I'll stop my quoting and let Kareem offer his commentary right here.
Yeah. What I just heard was we pulled all of the cool new things we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 months that you guys have been, raving about, and we locked them away. For what reason? We don't know yet. At some point, we'll bring them back. But I don't know why Microsoft felt the Windows engineers felt they needed to do this, especially when they add the last line again, reemphasizing builds from the FE underscore release branch are not matched to specific Windows 10 releases. I mean, if the dev channel is not part of a release of any sort, why remove features from it? You think this would be the place where the dumping ground for features. You
I
just keep
think,
loading them, and if
and
if some of them work, you move them on to the release channels. If they don't, just leave them there. Like I don't understand this.
your consensus, you're not alone. I myself, I have the same thought. When I saw this, I was really surprised. Why are they removing features? They did this earlier, even before we had the channels. We had it was regular, I think it was fast, slow, or release preview or whatever, they did remove sets, and that was a pretty big thing. It was an awesome Windows feature, and then Microsoft removed it, and it's been probably, I think, one year and a half, and we still haven't seen that. So are these awesome features, which were from Windows 10X, by the way, the emoji picker, they were inspired by Windows 10X. Are we ever going to see them again? That's something that I'm really worried about right now.
Well, and this circles back to our original conversation about this rumored redesign. If they can't start bringing out small elements like this to start, seeding the ground for this, UI overhaul, I don't understand how they plan to have this done by this time next year. I mean, this is the keyboard that we've been using for, again, 2 or 3 months now, and they've just pulled it.
Microsoft is doing Microsoft things once again. As much
Yeah,
as as much as we love Microsoft, this is a pretty
this
weird
is a head scratch.
decision. That Yeah, it's a head scratcher moment. Maybe next week we might see the features come back. I mean, they did say that they will be coming back in the future. Maybe it's just for a couple of weeks while they test their servicing or their changes or whatever. But right now, seeing the features removed, it brings back spooky memories from the past.
Yeah, and again, for those who are OS engineers, coders, things like that, please let us know in the comments. Obviously, the stuff we're not seeing, all of the work that goes behind this. Maybe there's something in this new set of code that breaks stuff that they can see. Or they have the foresight to know that this is not going to work, so they pull it, rejigger the code, and then bring it back later when it does work. Maybe that's something we're just not seeing. But as far as uh, the communication right now, it just seems a little befuddling.
Oh, Kareem, what can we say? It's Windows 10 and it's Microsoft.
Yeah, as much as they want to be transparent, I wish they could just be conversational at the same time.
So, speaking of conversational, something that people use right now to have conversations,
Segway.
something that people use to have conversations that Kareem and myself are using right now is Microsoft Teams. And it recently hit the 115 million daily active user mark, which is up from 75 million in just 6 months.
Yeah, this is, I mean, as far as Microsoft says in their earnings report, there are around 40 million new daily active users. And this is just, an increase in what, 6 months or so, which isn't too bad. Microsoft's Jeff Tepper, I believe his name,
Yep.
if I'm not saying that correctly, expressed his gratitude to users and partners for helping them reach this number. And he did this via tweet. He's quoted saying, excited and grateful to announce that Microsoft Teams is now serving 150 million daily active users. He wants to thank the customers and partners for betting on Microsoft and their Teams collaboration. And he plans to say, that there's more to come. I mean, Teams is constantly releasing stuff. One of our writers she's basically dedicated to Teams information because it drops every day, 2 or 3 times. So there'll be way more. And part of, and this will kind of be dovetailing into our conversation about the earnings report, is that obviously the global pandemic has kind of accelerated markets, not only for video chat and collaborations, but streaming services and things like that. Everyone's just seeing what might have taken upwards of a year, 2 or 3, has now been truncated into 6 to 8 months worth of stuff. So Microsoft's Teams has seen its user base increase exponentially within this time because everyone's using new video chat and collaboration tools at home.
And it's not only Teams that's seeing this growth. Of course, you all know Zoom suddenly busted and rose to the top with its users. And was it Zoom or was it one of them that copied Microsoft's Together mode feature?
Yeah, Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom. So it's not only Teams that's experiencing this growth right now. It's something that everyone is depending on because of the coronavirus pandemic. So it's
Yeah.
it's basically the new Windows versus Mac and versus Microsoft versus the world here when it comes to Teams.
Yeah, and then there's waiting in the wings, Google's weird chat thing that they're going to come up with, and I know that Slack, they're waiting for their Amazon partnership to kind of flourish. But as of right now, that seems the two video chat collaboration stuff, not just messaging, which is I think it's weird that Microsoft is fighting all these fronts. They have Slack as far as pure chat as their 1-2 competitor, and then as far as video is concerned, which is again the same tool that they're using, which is Teams. They're seeing the 1-2 competition between them and Zoom. But it is what it is.
So all this Teams information came from the earnings call where Satya Nadella was speaking, and Kareem will dive into some more of the data from that FY21Q1 earnings report.
Yeah, their fiscal year, Microsoft, their fiscal year is slightly off from others. They kind of report their Q1 at the end of what most people would say is the Q4 for everyone else. But regardless, it was a great quarter for them. And again, it was driven by not only Teams, which is obviously doing well, but just most of their cloud service initiatives. So Azure saw an increase. I believe it was Azure's increase. I want to say it's close to 30%, maybe almost 40 for again year over year. It's slightly down, but for the quarter it was actually up as far as revenue is concerned. Teams saw an increase, and then Microsoft's 365 with an emphasis on Office 365 seats also increased. For OEMs.
Let's talk about the more personal computing thing, which is what everyone cares about these days to measure how Surface is doing.
Yeah, personal computing. Actually, I wrote about, and this is the interesting part, is that the more personal computing cloud did well, by most standards. But if you were an analyst, it is showing some signs of some cracks within the company's business portfolio. Windows OEM's revenue declined 5%, and this is in spite of the U.S. seeing an 11% increase in PC shipments. Windows commercial products and cloud service revenues, they increased. They were 13%. They were up 13%. Xbox content and services, despite not having an actual piece of hardware to sell. Then this is, we're up 30%, which is a testament to their subscriptions and services, which is what they've been pushing. And Phil Spencer the other day was talking about how the pricing for Game Pass and the rest of those are sustainable, and they're proving it right now as they're seeing increases. Surface revenue increased 37%, which is always good for them. And this is in a year where I think they only introduced so far the Surface Laptop Go, Surface
Pro X,
Surface Pro X revision,
Surface
and the
Go
Surface
2. Yep.
the Surface Go 2. They haven't had their laptops refreshed. And I don't think they're going to do that by the end of this year. They haven't had their flagship Surface Pro line refreshed at all. The Surface Book 3 came out last year.
I think it was towards the tail end of last year.
Towards the tail end of last year. They did refresh some accessories, and then they had the Duo. But I don't think the Duo was counted in this.
What do you mean? Everyone's buying a Duo. That's why this revenue is going up.
Yeah, and even if that were true, I don't think it was counted in this particular quarter. It might have. I think they were counted out of this quarter just by a couple weeks. Then lastly, search advertising revenue, excluding traffic acquisition, decreased. This is again, this is starting to become a constant. This is now the third quarter in a row, I believe, that search advertising has seen some decreases. Again, they haven't been monumental quarter over quarter, but it is definitely a trend that I'm sure those in search are, keeping an eye on.
TLDR version is that Microsoft made a lot of money.
Yeah, Microsoft made a lot of money. They also beat expectations. I believe what I had said in my post is that the market had them matched at 40. Oh, they had them matched at 35.7 billion is what they expected them to bring as far as revenue is concerned, and Microsoft brought in 37.2. So, people again underestimated the growth in Teams, underestimated the growth in or the transition from companies going from um, on-premise to hybrid solutions for the cloud. Again, without people actually being in the office to make these transitions, everyone kind of expected it to be a slow go until people got back in the to IT people got back in the office. But this is a testament to Microsoft's sales team and the customer service that they were able to get people transition even while they work from home or work from remote locations.
So Surface Book 3 was released in May 2020, just to clear that up.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah,
So, but again, I honestly don't think the Surface Book is, is what's been pushing Surface revenue. If I had to guess, it's the flagship lines, the laptops as well.
That's actually a perfect segue for our first part of the week ahead segment because I want to talk about my review of this new HP NV15, which I specifically am playing for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm focusing my review in comparison to a Surface device because this really is a monster of a PC with GTX 2060 graphics with 6 gigabytes of VRAM, and the price is really up. It's up there for sure, but the price is not as much as it is on a Surface device. So I'm trying to focus my review on how this is a monster of a machine for playing Microsoft Flight Simulator that you can't get if you try and buy a Surface.
Yeah, I mean, again, you pay for the premium for Surface, you pay for the cachet of it being, a Microsoft device. But in all reality, there are much better deals from OEMs who are much more established. HP, Dell, they're doing some amazing things as far as pound for pound and dollar for dollar specs for the devices. Lenovo's up there as well. So, and not to discount Acer or Asus for people. So just keep your eyes out. If you like the design, you like the feel, you like the look of a Surface, they're great. But fortunately, on the PC side, there are tons of options.
That's something that I'll get into in my review, obviously. It is a lot like a Surface. There's a lot of premium here on this, but specs wise, it's not compared to Surface. That's where the value is. But
Yeah,
I digress. I'm not intending here to slam Microsoft or anything. I'm a big Surface fan, as is Kareem, and he wants to get in here and plug his Surface Laptop Go review.
yeah. Like I said, it's Microsoft was kind enough to send us a review unit, and by no means will I be easy on this one. I like to compare them to the market, be as realistic as possible about what people can expect to get. And in doing so, I know that we've had a review of the Surface Laptop Go already, which is more of the streamlined. This is the device. What I want to do is pair this against one of my favorite Microsoft devices, which is the Surface Go 2. I think it's one of the most versatile devices they have in their product line. I know the Pro is very diverse. The Pro X is very niche. The Surface Book is just a question mark in my site, and the Surface laptops are traditional form factors. But the something about the size of the Surface Go 2, especially coming at a time when Microsoft is pushing their Surface Duo up in size. You go from basically the leap is from 8 inches to 10 now, and you can't fold it. But I want to compare that to the Surface Laptop Go as far as specs, pricing, because I feel like that's its real competitor. As much as people want to say that the Chromebook is its head-to-head competitor, which market analysis might say, its product line as far as what we see in the next 5 years when they converge and say, what, we have too many things, we need to start trimming them. I want to see which one goes. Will it be the Surface Laptop Go, or will it be the Surface Go?
Show us that shiny Surface logo.
Yeah, yeah. It's I have a Surface.
There we
Thanks,
go.
thanks to our co-host here, I have a brand new shiny Surface laptop, 15-inch, and this thing is every bit as premium as that. Looks just like the thing. I'm having trouble pulling myself away from the two. I want to use them both at the same time. But again, I digress. I will be reviewing that and reviewing it in that scope. So if there's any questions you have about the Laptop Go or the Surface Go 2, please drop them into anywhere in the comment section. We'll keep an eye on that or on our Twitter feed.
So my go-to, not go-to, my Surface laptop Go from my other publication. I still have it on hand, and I'm using it as a dev insider machine to test the Windows insider builds, and it's a pretty nifty device. Really super super fast, which I'm sure Kareem will absolutely love too.
Oh yeah, like I said, I want to compare the speeds. I want to see what the difference is between the Intel chip on the Go 2 versus what they pack into this one. I know I get more space on my Go 2 because I have expanded storage in there. I want to see how that works for the laptop here. Again, just making sure I can see where the value is for people who can only afford one device and which one should they go for, especially if they're going to college, starting a new career, building a home office, things like that.
It's gonna be a fabulous review that I look forward to reading.
Me too. I look forward to writing.
I think we pretty much covered everything that we want to talk about this week on the On podcast, unless you have something that you want to talk about.
No, I think that's going to be it. We'll see what kind of curveballs Microsoft throws at us this week as far as news is concerned. So always keep it peeled on Microsoft.com.
We've been right so far about the Windows 10 side. The last couple podcasts, every single week, we've been teasing when will Microsoft release a Windows 10 redesign? When is Dev going to get exciting? And look, things are shaping up very well.
Hey, if you say it long enough, you're bound to be right at some point.
Exactly. That's why we keep saying every week this is the On podcast, the On Microsoft podcast.
And again, I think I want to start this back up. We're going to be the only podcast that has Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella call in for business advice. I'm going to say it enough until he actually does.
Geez. That's a pretty fun one. Well, I think that's it for today's show. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we hope to see you again next week, same place, same time. Follow us on Twitter. I am A Backjern, and you are
Minehead, one. Still looking for Minehead to let go of the name.
So thanks everyone for watching us today, and we hope you have a beautiful week ahead.
Happy Halloween. Wear a mask.